So the data's in from over 300 churches across North America. And the number one thing killing church growth has nothing to do with your budget, has nothing to do with your building, and it has nothing to do with your preaching. The Unstuck Group just dropped their first quarter report of the 2026 church report, and there's 3 findings that really jumped off the page. Now, if you lead a church, you really need to hear this and know this. Next week, I'm actually going to dig deeper into each one with practical ways that you can address them in your own church. So follow me now so you don't miss those. But first, here's what the data from this report is telling us. Number 1, churches growing faster than 20% annually see about 12% of their attendance make decisions to following Jesus. Now, declining churches, that number's closer to 4%. Now, that's a 3-fold difference. And here's what that's telling us. That evangelistic focus and numerical growth, they're not competing with one another. They're actually feeding one another. The churches that are shrinking, those are the ones that tend to have quietly turned inward, and they're focused more on keeping the people they have than reaching out to the people that are in their community. Now, if your church has stopped talking about the lost and you don't have an intentional plan for evangelism, don't be surprised when the growth stops too. Next week, I'm going to break down exactly why churches drift inward and what you can do to help reverse that in your own church. Now, the second finding, and this is across almost every church in the survey, the number one engagement weakness was the same: developing volunteer leaders. Now, I'm not talking about recruiting volunteers. I'm talking about leading them. Now, the average church has 17 attendees for every 1 volunteer leader. In churches over 1,000, that's actually worse. It's 21 to 1. And here's the important distinction. This isn't a pipeline problem. You probably have plenty of people serving. What most churches are missing is that next layer. People who move from serving on a team to leading a team, and from leading a team to coaching others. Now, if your church ever hits a growth ceiling, there's a good chance this is why. And again, next week, I'll be impacting a practical framework for building that leadership pipeline in a dedicated video, so you won't want to miss it. Now, the third finding, and this one may or may not surprise you. Finances are not what separates growing churches from declining ones. In fact, 37% of declining churches say that their finances are actually thriving. The money's fine, but yet the church is still going backwards. So what's the difference? The data points to 4 different things. Number 1, vision clarity. Number 2, an active invite culture. Number 3, strong volunteer leadership. And number 4, a willingness to change. Now, it's this last one that is especially telling, because declining churches reported resistance to change as a barrier at 15%, while the fastest growing churches came in at just 3%. Here's the deal. The church that cannot adapt will not grow, no matter how healthy the budget looks. And again, next week, I'm going to get practical on what vision clarity looks like in the local church and how you can diagnose whether or not your culture is actually open to change or quietly resisting it. So here's the gut check as a pastor. Is your church still talking about the people who aren't there yet? Are you developing leaders or just deploying volunteers? And honestly, is there something in your church that needs to change that you've been avoiding? The data doesn't lie. The healthiest churches aren't the ones with the most resources. They're the ones with the clearest vision and the courage to keep moving. So follow me right now, because next week I'm going deeper on each of these 3 insights with practical tools that you can bring back to your church, so you don't want to miss that. And if this video was helpful, share it with a pastor who needs to hear it.